Hello everyone and thanks for joining me. Today we'll be premiering a new series I'll be doing in this channel called Outfit Fundamentals. And what basically it is I'm going to be breaking down the outfits and how the different parts of how dressing for a specific brand. I'm going to start with three of my favorite brands, which will be Yohji Yamamoto, Anna and Kiko Kostanov. And from each brand, I'm going to be explaining a little bit what they're about, what their aesthetics is, and how you can dress just like the brand image, let's say. And I'll be breaking it down through shoes, pants, tops, outerwear, etc. And we'll go from there. I'll be showing you some ways to get the clothes, maybe some alternatives. That's it, so let's start. Okay, so the first one I wanted to do was Yohji Yamamoto, right? For those of you who don't know, Yohji Yamamoto is a Japanese designer. He's been doing it for a very, very long time. And he's known for making clothes which are primarily black, but he has ventured a little bit out of that. And his silhouettes are very baggy, made with a black wool gabardine. As I said, the silhouettes are baggy, they're flowy, and words that come to mind when you think of Yohji Yamamoto main line basically are androgynous. Basically, the women's wear can be worn by men, the men's wear can be worn by women. Also asymmetry, raw seams is some things that are repeated throughout Yohji's creations. And he makes intentionally, I would say intentionally, albeit they're very formal wear. He uses a lot of his Japanese culture and introduces it into his clothing. Something like the hakama pants are a very key piece to Yohji's wardrobe when you want to dress like him. Very long, flowy textures. Okay, so let's get it started. We'll start from the bottom and then go up to the top, okay? So if you want to dress like the Yohji man, the Yohji aesthetic, let's start with the shoes, right? Basically, normally the shoes you see on Yohji's runways are normally there are boots, they're combat boots. He actually made a collaboration with Dr. Martens and they released this boot, which is very similar to the normal, I think it's 1460 normal Doc Martens boot. So if you don't want to pay the price for this one, I think you can base your outfit around some really basic Doc Martens boots. The more distressed and used they are, the better. That's the whole look we're looking for here. And also formal shoes, formal derbies are really prominent in Yohji's aesthetics. So if you don't want to pay the big price for some very expensive combat boots or derbies, you can go for Doc Martens and that'll be great. That'll be a great foundation for your outfit. The reason why I think he used it, the boots are chunky and they give a little bit more aggressive, look to you since you're wearing very formal and black wear. So I think if you start with boots, it's perfect. You can also wear some derbies like the Marseille ones I have, and it'll look great. All right. After shoes goes trousers. For me, one of the most important things about when you're dressing with Yohji is very baggy trousers. You have different options of what normally is worn with Yohji. You have the very classic balloon pants, which are a staple in Yohji Yamamoto. They're this big, wide pants. I'll put a picture here, which then have a cinch on the bottom. Those are very hard to find an alternative, so I would say either go for one of the diffusion line like round Y, maybe go around grailed. But again, as I said, that's one of the most difficult ones to get. The second one is the hakama pants. They're classic. They kind of look like a skirt, but they're this classic Japanese wear, which you can see in some pictures I put here. And they're very flowy. It's very wide and it's a little bit cropped, so you can see the whole boot. The thing about the hakamas is it's very difficult to wear outside of Japan. I think you get a lot of looks. It looks a lot like a skirt. And to be honest, wearing hakama pants was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. But anyways, and the easiest one is some white trousers. You can find a variety of white trousers in very different places, but I have ones from Uniqlo that they fit so big They look kind of like Yohji-esque, so maybe find something like that. So as we rise up, the next piece for me would be, you can vary maybe, but I think a fundamental piece would be a shirt, a very flowy shirt. It depends, it can be very long, sometimes they wear long, sometimes they wear shorter, but I would say for me, basics would be a white shirt, a very nice white shirt, a black shirt, or a dark blue shirt would go great with any Yohji fit. And then you can change it up, but normally a blazer will function excellent here. You put on a blazer, a black shirt, some white pants and some boots, you got the Yohji look very well. And finally, outerwear. Outerwear, I would say the longer the better. So if you have any jacket that reaches your ankles, you're set. Again, they're very difficult to find. These silhouettes are very specific to Yohji, and they sometimes are very difficult to find. One thing I would say is look through Grailed, or a very good option is going to the Japanese Yahoo auction. Sorry, it's kind of like an eBay but for Japan, and they sell a ton of vintage and diffusion line Yohji pieces, which you can find there for cheap price, relatively cheap price, but a lot cheaper than what you would get here in normal boutiques. There are a lot of proxy services which you can use to get it. So a proxy service is basically someone who buys it in Japan and then sends it to you. There's a lot of proxy services. I use zenmarket, which has functioned well for me, but there's a lot of different ones you can use, and that's a very good way to get Yohji pieces without going to Japan and actually finding them. As I said, he's been designing for a long time, so there'll be a lot of vintage pieces that follow his aesthetics. And I think that's it. All right, so we have divided piece by piece what makes the aesthetic. So now I'll be showing you two outfits that I have created with a few Yohji pieces. So outfit number one, again, we'll start from the bottom. I'm using my Anti-Indonesia combat boots, black leather. They look great. I don't have Doc Martens or the Yohji boots, but it works perfectly. Then on the bottom, I'm wearing some ground wide Yakama pants. Ground wide is a diffusion line for Yohji Yamamoto, so it'll be a little bit cheaper. The Hakama pants, they flow great. They're black and they look amazing with the boots. But again, as I said, it's a very difficult pant to wear. I mean, wearing Rick Owens pants was already hard, but wearing Hakama pants in the West, depends on where you are, but since I live in a small town, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. So be wary about that. You have to have a lot of courage, and you have to wear it to certain situations. It's not a pant you can wear every day. And then on top, I'm wearing a black shirt from Uniqlo U and a black blazer. It's a very simple look. For me, it's a very Yohji-esque look, and one which I love. And I think it looks really good, but you guys can tell me about it. Finally, look number two. This is another Yohji look. I wanted to make it a little bit more diverse. On the bottom, I have my Marseille derbies, which look very good with these Uniqlo white pants, which gives you that whole bottom aesthetic. And then on the top, I'm wearing a dark blue shirt and a Weiss long jacket. So Weiss is the women's diffusion line for Yohji. As you can see, this is size 4. Japanese size go from 1 to 4. This is size 4, and it's still a bit tight on the shoulders, but what can you do? But that's the whole aesthetic we're looking for. We're looking for a very long coat which reaches almost the floor and flows. That's a very important thing. Flowing about your pants, your jacket, you flow. Pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. Next video will probably be the Kiko Gel Delva review. I'll be showing you a bit about it because some of the pictures look a bit odd on the internet, so we don't really know the real colors. So when that arrives, I'm going to be posting a video about it. I hope you enjoyed this one. Next one will probably be Easter. I'll be breaking it down and etc. And I'll be showing you 2 more outfits with it. But anyway, I hope you enjoy and see you next time.